I'm eager to begin spring, aren't you? Except it was 28 degrees this morning when I woke up. Nevertheless, we know and we trust that the seasons are changing, the days are getting longer, there's more available light, and that is the way our church year goes. We call that more available light. We call that lengthening of the days. We call it Lent. You see the familiarity of the words, the proximity of the words between Lent and lengthen, because what the church has done over a couple thousand years is hijack this spring event every year and say, this thing that happens naturally, this cycle of seasons, is really very similar to what God does in our lives. And what we must constantly do is renew and refresh. God makes all things new. So the daffodils come up, the buds come out, and the wind blows your leaves into your neighbor's yards. It's just, it works. That was a joke, by the way. Let me try that again. The daffodils come out, the buds come out, and the wind blows your leaves into your neighbor's homes. God makes all things new. Now, I want you to take out that black book in your pews, the one with the gold cross. It's the Book of Common Prayer. It is essentially the heart and soul of the Anglican Communion is contained literally in a Book of Common Prayer such as this. And today, on page 614, we are going to peek into the private journal of a very famous man. I don't know if you've ever peeked into someone else's journal. I won't tell you whose, but it's very revealing. People write things in their journals. They write poems or they compose songs or sonnets that really express the depth of their own heart on any particular issue. And that's what this is, these collection of 150 poems and songs, most of them by King David. They're a look into the unvarnished emotion of what it means to be a human being in today's world. In then world, the ancient world, 3,000 years ago, but they are as rich and deep and meaningful today as they were then. I got a call just 2 weeks ago from a young woman in our church that I know pretty well. There's a lot of turmoil in her family, a lot of betrayal in her family, and she just called and she said, I just don't know how to pray. I mean, I've had a relationship with God all my life, but things have been so hard for me and for my family these last few weeks. I just don't know how to pray. And I said, use someone else's prayers. Use someone else who has taken the time to write down out of their own heart and pray those prayers instead. What we find in the Psalms, here in the Book of Common Prayer and also in the Bible, we find really the heart of love, the reality of hate, of anger, bewilderment, helplessness, victory and joy. It's hard to kind of understand the background of what was going on in the life of King David 3,000 years ago, but it's not hard to relate to his emotion. He's got fear and anxiety. He speaks of trust. He speaks of revenge. This is all by way of introduction because I want you to understand that what we're doing here today is a time-honored practice. In fact, Jesus himself did it. Jesus used this prayer book, not the Book of Common Prayer, but this prayer book of King David for his own devotions. He quotes significantly from it. You may remember when he was hanging on the cross, he spoke 7 phrases, 7 words like, "It is finished," and "I thirst," and a total of only 50 words, and one of them was from Psalm 22, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Can I spend just a little bit more time on this? Because I feel intuitively that I need to kind of sell you on the idea that this book, the book of Psalms, is a way to express your own heart when you don't have the words. I have mine here. I've carried it to the bedside and turned to Psalm 91 in the hospitals and said, "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High abides in the shadow of the Almighty." I've carried it to the graveside and quoted Psalm 23, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil." I've taken it underneath the stars at night. When I consider the moon and the stars, the planets and their courses, the majesty of your heavens, what is man that you are mindful of him? The Son of Man that you made him? I even quote it now during the start of what many of us fear is going to be a long, deep recession. Oh, many are saying, "Please show us better days. Show us the light of your countenance, O Lord, and we shall be saved." Psalm 4. And I quote it almost every week when I'm standing right here before you. "May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be always acceptable in your sight, for you are our strength and our Redeemer." Psalm 19. You see, it's a human book, maybe the most human of all books. There isn't an emotion that you haven't felt on the range of joy and ecstasy to betrayal and anger and revenge, of bitterness or sweetness or love and charity. And there isn't any emotion that you have felt that isn't in here. And today we look at Psalm 25. We don't really know what's going on behind Psalm 29, but obviously there's some big problem. This man, whoever he is, we understand he's King David, but he's facing troubled times. Just read into the line. He says, read between the lines. He says, "To you, O Lord, I lift my soul, my God, in whom I put my trust. Let me not be humiliated." Verse 1, "Nor let my enemies triumph over me. Let none who look to you like me be put to shame." You ever felt that? I've been working all my life to follow Jesus Christ, and look at what's happened to me. Let none who look to you be humiliated, God. Look, verse 15. "Turn to me and have pity on me, for I'm left alone and in misery." So something's going on in this guy's life. We don't know what it is, but it doesn't matter what it is because you can relate to it, as can I. The second thing I see about this psalm is that he's looking for direction. He's looking for a path. He's looking for a place to walk. He's looking for an avenue to go. And look at verse 3. "Show me your ways, O Lord, and teach me your paths." Verse 4, "Lead me in your truth and teach me." Verse 8, "He guides the humble in doing right and teaches his way to the lowly." Verse 9, "All the paths of the Lord are love and faithfulness to those who keep his covenant and his testimonies." Verse 11, "Who are they who fear the Lord? He will teach them the way that they should choose."